everybody. I'm Merle Harmon along with Gene Washington. Welcome to our game today in Cincinnati between the Bengals and the Baltimore Colts. And the Colts have won 2 this year, both by overtime, including a wild one last week.
Well, the Colts have gone from being 27th in offense last year to 5th overall this year. Mike Pagel is getting good protection from his young offensive line, very aggressive, and this guy, Curtis Dickey, coming out of the backfield is very dangerous. His running mate, Randy McMillan, they're one of the best punchers in all of football, so they're going to be very exciting today.
Won the toss. Baltimore won the toss, will receive. Jim Breach will kick off for the Cincinnati Bengals. A 5-year veteran from the University of California. Going back deep for the Baltimore Colts is Rick Porter. 1-year man out of Slippery Rock, whose return average about 24.8 this year. So we're ready to get underway. Cincinnati a 1-3 record. Baltimore 2-2. Each club won last week, and we're underway at Riverfront. This is Rick Porter at the goal line. And Porter is knocked down at about the 17-yard line by Stanley Wilson, and Larry Kennebrew is down there also, a 17-yard return. So it is Baltimore's ball, first down at its own 17, and Mike Pagel and the offensive unit come on the field. Pagel at quarterback, Curtis Dickey and Randy McMillan, 2 of the fine running backs of the NFL. The wideouts, Matt Booza, Bernard Henry, and Tim Sherwin, the tight end. Up front, Chris Hinton, the rookie. Watch him, number 75. And on the right side, Jim Mills has been coming on strong at right tackle. Sherwin, tight end, sets left. Here we go. First down, 17, Baltimore. Pagel at the 21 makes the completion to number 88, Bernard Henry, and Lewis Breeden, 34, who is playing that corner. Makes the hit for the Cincinnati Bengals. Short yardage on the play at the 21, a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down 6. The defensive line, led by Eddie Edwards, the veteran out of Miami of Florida. And the linebackers, Glenn Cameron is the old pro in this group. He's in his 9th year out of the University of Florida. And the defensive backs, they've had to switch. Corner today, Lewis Breeden playing the left side, and over on the right side, the rookie, Horton, in place of Ken Riley. And on the slant, Curtis Dickey fails to get the first down, but he does get out to about the 23-yard line. So now, the Baltimore Colts are faced with a 3rd down, about 3. Glenn Cameron, number 50, the veteran linebacker, making the stop with help from Bobby Kemp, the strong safety. They call him the enforcer. He's out of Cal Fullerton. So it is 3rd down 3, Gene Washington.
Well, this is a key situation for Baltimore because they want to keep the ball on the ground. They don't have a lot of speed out of their wide receiving position, so they'd love for Dickey and McMillan to be able to sustain the ball and eat up that clock.
3rd and 3. McMillan, he is close to the first down. I believe with the second effort as he was being hit, he made it. He did make it by a yard or so. Bobby Kemp and free safety Robert Jackson coming up to make the hit. Randy McMillan, a 3rd-year man out of Pittsburgh.
Well, what you don't see here is Curtis Dickey's on the outside. He makes a good block. McMillan uses the speed to get out to the outside. He sees where he has to go for that first down, and he picks it up. And as I said before, Merle, they want to keep the ball on the ground. They want to keep the Cincinnati defense out there and wear them down. They don't want to put it up an awful lot to their wide receivers because they don't have the speed.
At the 29, first down Baltimore. Pagel, and incomplete, intended for Matt Booza, his wideout from California, who has caught 11 passes for 172 yards. The coverage by Ray Horton and by Robert Jackson. As we mentioned, Horton has had to go over to the right side to fill in for the injured Ken Riley, and Lewis Breeden is back at the left cornerback. He was out with an injury, but the old pro is all set to go again. 2nd down and 10. Ray Donaldson over the ball. Hinton in right to the guards. Ball to Schuyler and Mills to the tackles. Dickey, no place to go. Eddie Edwards, who has 6 sacks to his credit and has been the leader of this 3-man front. The 7-year man out of Miami makes the hit for a loss of a little bit. We'll call it 3rd down and 10.
I think Cincinnati really had that play diagnosed very well because they brought their outside linebacker, number 49, Guy Frazier. He just shot across the line of scrimmage, forcing the running back to turn up a little sooner than he wanted to. therefore running into the pursuit.
And Ross Browner has just come on the field for the first time today as a four-man front goes down against Pagel. Browner trying to get in there. He can't. The sack is made back at the 20-yard line, however. Glenn Collins, number 76, was in there. Along with Reggie Williams, the linebacker, coming from the outside. But the crowd really started buzzing when Browner came aboard as you look at Glenn Collins coming off the field.
Well, you can see that Browner really puts the penetration deep, forcing Pagel to come up inside. He wasn't the man who ended up with the sack, but just the fact that he forced Pagel to step up into the pocket allowed the other guys to come up with the sack.
Ron Stark, who has the highest punting average in the NFL at 48.7, will kick it away to Mike Martin on a fourth down. That loss, by the way, carried the ball back to the 21-yard line, and it is fourth down and 18 for Baltimore. Ron Stark, an outstanding punter out of Florida State. His longest this year, 67 yards. How about this for a fake? What is Baltimore doing here? Giving up the ball deep in Cincinnati territory. Bobby Kemp broke that pass up. Ron Stark, to the surprise of everyone, on fourth down and 18 deep in Baltimore territory, threw the football, and Cincinnati takes over.
What a surprise this is. He had his man open, but the ball just hung in the air a little bit too long. Bobby Kemp didn't see it at first, and he makes quite an effort to knock this ball away.
And so the Cincinnati Bengals will take over on the 21-yard line of the Baltimore Colts here in the first quarter with 11 minutes, 49 seconds left to play in the first period. Merle, Harmon, and Gene Washington with you at Riverfront. Let's see what the Bengals can do now. With Kenny Anderson at quarterback, his running backs Charles Alexander and Rodney Tate, and here we go. Anderson upstairs right away, completes it at the 15. At the 12-yard line, the play is stopped, and a flag goes down on the play. Isaac Curtis on the receiving end. Let's see what the flag is about.
I think Vernon Maxwell is going to be called a personal foul against Maxwell because when he came over to tackle Curtis, he hit him with a forearm. The official called it right away.
We'll take another look.
Well, Anderson gets the ball out rather quickly to Curtis, but watch Maxwell, number 56, when he comes over to make the tackle, watch this forearm. There it is. And the flag will come right in there.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 56, defense, first down.
Penalties have plagued both these teams all year long. Vernon Maxwell, the rookie out of Arizona State. And it is first down and goal to go for the Bengals on the 6-yard line of the Baltimore Colts. Alexander on the sweep. Knocked out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. A good hit made by Nesby Glasgow, number 25, who is playing the strong safety today in place of his normal free safety spot. Anderson at quarterback, Tate and Alexander the running backs. Alexander is the key today. Collinsworth still shut out in the touchdown department. And Dan Ross, of course, a very effective pass-catching tight end. Up front, Munoz injured today. Obravik will see most of the action there, but Lapham, Moore, Montoya, and Wilson are solid pros. Harris and Wilson are the running backs. Alexander right at the goal line, where it will be third down and goal to go. So Ken Anderson looking to the bench, looking for the play call. Third and goal at about the 1. Leo Wisniewski is going to be the key as the nose tackle. Injured last week, back this week. Maxwell has been outstanding as an outside linebacker. Cooks came on with a good game last week. Derek Hatchett, and Nesby Glasgow, they're the keys in that defensive secondary. Third and goal. Fourth and goal as Wilson did not make it as a... There's Wisniewski. We were just talking about him. And it's fourth and goal for Cincinnati.
Well, this is a situation when you need Pete Johnson. You get down there, you're close, you only need a yard or so. This is when Pete can take it into the end zone. I'm a little surprised at the play call because they're going with a little, it takes a little too long when you're going around trying to trap down there. giving the ball to Stanley Wilson. He's quick, but he's not a big guy, and you wouldn't expect him to get it in a short yardage situation.
So Jim Breach will try to put the Bengals on the scoreboard with 3 from the 9-yard line. It'll be a 19-yard effort. Steve Kreider is in to hold. Cincinnati takes the lead on a 19-yard field goal by Breach with 10 minutes and 17 seconds left to go in the first quarter. So the Bengals get on the scoreboard first and will return to Cincinnati after these messages. Jim Breach, who just kicked a 19-yard field goal to put Cincinnati in the scoring column with 10 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the first quarter, will kick off to the Baltimore Colts again. Back deep is Rick Porter out of Slippery Rock. And the ball is going to be fielded in the end zone and down to the end zone by Kendall Williams. And the ball will be brought to the 20 where the Colts will put it in play. Good coverage down there by Robert Jackson. The Chicago Bears, who were defeated by Baltimore last week in an overtime game, leading Denver 7-0 in the first quarter. Matt Suhey running 13 yards for the touchdown for the Bears. What a surprise by the Colts, Gene.
I would never have believed that, especially so early in the ball game. I mean, it's such a risky play.
It almost worked.
Well, it almost worked, but I tell you, that's some chance you're taking.
Here come the Colts. Mike Pagel and company. Mike, the second-year man from Arizona State. That's Sherwood in motion. McMillan. Cincinnati's defense responds. A loss on the play of a yard or so. Glenn Collins, 76. Eddie Edwards, 73.
And Reggie Williams, outside linebacker, closing the gap out there, shutting things down.
Tremendous defensive effort by the Baltimore Colts after giving up that football on their own 21-yard line. It is second down coming on now. 12 yards to go for the Colts. We're the youngest team in the NFL. Pagel under a rush, gets it away, completed at the 29-yard line. Short of a first down by a yard. Ray Horton, number 20, the rookie from Washington, making the tackle. And
that's Matt Booza out of the University of California. Guy who doesn't have an awful lot of speed, but he's a good target. Lots of height, runs good pass patterns, and has very sure hands.
A gain of 11. It'll be third down, less than a yard to go. Booza coming into the game, no touchdowns. His longest reception, 22 yards. Signs a free agent after playing with San Francisco. Third down. Going to be close. Looks like he made it, though. Got across the 30. Curtis Dickey, who has rushed for 268 yards, going into this one. He's bigger than a lot of people think, Gene, at 220 pounds.
He certainly is. When you stand next to him on the field, you realize how big he is for a guy who can run as fast as he can. He can really fly.
First down for the Colts as we check in the first quarter. The Washington Redskins leading the Los Angeles Raiders 7-0. John Riggins, the Kansas Farmer, on a 2-yard touchdown run. First and 10 for the Colts, who trailed 3-0. 8 minutes, 3 seconds to go in the first quarter. Dickey in motion. The 39, Reggie Williams stops Dickey, who was coming out of the backfield. He gets 9 yards on the play, about 9 yards. Let's see where they spot it. And it will be second down 2, so he gets 8. Green Bay, after an awful game against the New York Giants last week, leading Tampa Bay, one of the 2 winless teams in the NFL, 7-0. Phillip Epps on a punt return of 90 yards, puts Green Bay on the scoreboard. He's a world-class sprinter out of TCU. 2nd and 1 for Baltimore. McMillan going for the first down. Finds enough of a hole running behind Steve Wright and Ray Donaldson to get it. Reggie Williams, 57, the outside linebacker, putting the hit on Randy McMillan, who has gained 265 yards this year going into this one in 4 ball games.
Baltimore would love to isolate Curtis Dickey on a linebacker in a passing situation. They can do it from play action or regular drop back. There's no linebacker in football who can cover him man-to-man. So Cincinnati's going to have to adjust their defense in some kind of way to stop that. They're going to have to double-team Curtis Dickey coming out of the backfield.
This time it's Boza in motion. Completed back over the middle as the blitz was on. Robert Jackson making the hit on Tim Sherwin, the tight end, so Pagel picked it up all right. And also gets into Cincinnati territory at the 47-yard line.
Well, Pagel picked it up right away. The tight end, Sherwin, knew that they were blitzing, so he gets down to that area. He knows the ball is going to be coming to him, and he really makes a terrific catch because he has to turn back over his left shoulder. Made a great catch on the ball, but they were expecting it in that situation. And your tight end is usually your hot man. That means when the linebackers come on a blitz on the inside, the tight end looks for the football right away.
Just a little bit short of a first down. Maybe the length of the football for a first down in Cincinnati territory at the 47-yard line. This Baltimore Colt ball club in no way looks like the team we saw last year. No way.
Well, you know, their offensive line, they're big. They remind you of the Raiders' offensive line. What they like to do is they like to block those people man on man, and when you have two outstanding running backs like they do, let those guys decide where they want to go. Let them run the daylight.
Pagel, 4 out of 5, 32 yards. Second and short. Pagel pumps once. He can run for the first down and does inside the 40 at about the 39, where Reggie Williams, the linebacker out of Dartmouth, playing the right side, makes the hit on Mike Pagel, but another first down and the Colt drive continues.
Well, they wanted to throw the ball early, but Cincinnati had a defense very well. They had rotation on that side, zone coverage. Pagel did the wise thing to do. He didn't put the ball up, didn't risk an interception. Comes up with the first down.
At the 38, over on that Baltimore bench, they're looking at Curtis Dickey, who was shaken up. You're looking at Vernon Maxwell, number 56 on the sideline, the rookie linebacker. First down. Alvin Moore. Moore inside the 35 at the 34. Glenn Collins, 76, makes the tackle. Moore is out of Arizona State, a rookie, an exciting running back. It'll be second down 6, and we're 4:58 away from the end of the first quarter.
Well, this is Dickey making the block. He's blocking on Reggie Williams, number 57. And you can see that he goes down. It appears as though he may have just gotten the wind knocked out of him.
Now the Colts back to the attack again, down to the 23-yard line. And this time it is McMillan who is shaken up as Lewis Breeden, the left cornerback, made the hit on him. Another first down in this Baltimore drive, which started at the Colt 20-yard line.
Well, it appears as though Randy McMillan is the one who really delivers the blow. Look, boom. He just knocks Breeden back, but he's the one who ends up on the ground.
So the Colts, who are trailing by 3-0 with 4.5 minutes to go in the first period, have the ball inside the 25. And with the timeout, Cincinnati leading 3-0. We'll return to Riverfront after this. Millen appears to have injured a right knee. He is on his own power, of course, but that puts McMillan and Dickey on the bench together and puts a lot of pressure on Alvin Moore and Newton Williams. Newton Williams, number 39, a second-year man from Arizona State. Moore, the rookie from Arizona State. First down inside the 20-yard line of Cincinnati. That's Alvin Moore down around the 22-yard line.
Well, I'm very, very impressed with the Colts' offensive line play. They have really dominated Cincinnati's defense. Let's take a look at these guys up front. They're all young, but they're all very big, and everybody gets a hat on a defender. They let the running back run to daylight. And when you're blocking against a 3-4 defense, that defense is designed to stop plays to the outside. The most effective thing to do is run right at them. You might not get big yardage at first, but someplace along there's going to pop.
On second and 8, Pagel completes it. Sherwin inside the 10. Bobby Kemp, the strong safety, had to yank Sherwin down, the big 6'6", 3-year man from Boston College.
Well, Mike Pagel here is right on the money. He throws a perfect pass because it's good coverage. Tim Sherwin coming along just plucks the ball right out of the air. And I tell you, this offensive group looks like they're a team that might have 3 or 4 guys going to the Pro Bowl the way they're playing.
First down, goal to go for the Colts inside the 10-yard line now. McMillan is back. The handoff to Moore. Moore into the end zone. Touchdown, Baltimore. Bowling over Bobby Jackson, the free safety. And Alvin Moore, they talked about him being an exciting runner. He is that as he goes in to put Baltimore on top 6-3.
Well, he doesn't have the size of the other running backs, but he's very quick. The offensive line is using a little trap action on the left side. Moore goes to the left, but he sees daylight to the right and cuts back across. Cincinnati's linebackers overflow too much to their right side, leaving that gap open for the touchdown.
Ron Stark will hold for Raul Allegra. Raul out of the University of Texas. 6 out of 7 points after. 1 was blocked. And this one is good, and Baltimore takes a 7-3 lead, marching 80 yards on a very impressive drive to take the lead. Now we're down to 2:49 to go in the first quarter, and Baltimore's on top 7.
And after a big Curtis Jordan interception of Jim Plunkett, look at John Riggins, stretches out, takes it in. Washington leads it 7-0. Now back to Merle and Gene.
Thank you, Lenny, and the big man from Kansas is underway today. Raul Allegra will kick off. Rodney Tate, 23. Stanley Wilson, 32, deep for Cincinnati. Baltimore leading 7-3. It's going to be Rodney Tate. Tate from the 5 out across the 25, near the 27, where Rick Porter makes the hit for the Baltimore Colts, and Allegra, who has really come on for Baltimore. He was drafted originally by the Dallas Cowboys, obtained from the Cowboys for a 9th-round draft choice. We're down to 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the first quarter, and we've got a timeout with Baltimore on top 7-3. Lead over Dallas on a Steve Dills to Sammy White 43-yard touchdown pass. And Seattle at Cleveland, 3-0 Seattle on Norm Johnson's 25-yard field goal. Lynn Dickey has hit Jesse Clark for Green Bay, 75 yards, 2 big bombs, Green Bay leading Tampa Bay. On the 22, Kenny Anderson going up high. There's Collinsworth out there all alone, and he can't keep his feet. The Cincinnati Bengal fans have been waiting 4 games for this. 63 yards. Talk about going upstairs and going deep. And Collinsworth was there. He was all alone. He couldn't keep his feet.
Well, I talked to some of the players before the game, and Isaac Curtis said, this is a team that you can go deep on because those defensive backs get back there and squat at 15 yards. That's exactly what happened to number 42, Derek Hatchett. Collinsworth went downfield, saw him squatting, shot off. Anderson put the ball up there. A really good throw because it went about 60 yards in the air, and a great catch by Collinsworth.
So the Bengals trying to strike back in a hurry. Collinsworth splits to the left side. First down just outside the 10-yard line for the Bengals. Baltimore leading 7-3. Zips it right over the middle inside the 5 to Collinsworth again. Barry Krause, number 55, the right inside linebacker, makes the tackle.
Well, Dan Ross was his number 1 target. That's where he wanted to go. Collinsworth was his secondary man. He comes into the middle wide open, goes up, uses all of that height advantage, come down with the reception.
Kenny Anderson now will go with 2 tight ends on 2nd down 3. He can get a first down without a touchdown. Wilson and Alexander are the running backs. Play action. Touchdown. M.L. Harris, the other tight end who had come in. His 2nd touchdown of the year, and Cincinnati is on top. And the first quarter is not over yet.
Well, Anderson using play action. He has lots of targets out there. M.L. Harris is the number 2 tight end. He plays behind Ross, but he has more speed and quickness than Ross does. And he simply just beats his man. That's Danzy Glasgow, number 25, trying to cover him. But that's a difficult thing to do, covering a man who's coming straight across the field.
The 175th touchdown pass of Anderson's career and his 3rd of the season. Kreider will hold for Breach. Cincinnati is on top again. The Bengals have come back to go ahead 9-7. So we are off to a wild and woolly football game this afternoon. 52 seconds, make that 10-7. We're 52 seconds away from the end of the first period. Cincinnati leading by 3. We'll return to
what the Cincinnati fans have been waiting for. Getting the ball downfield deep to Collingsworth, and he just runs by number 42, Derek Hatchett. Makes a good catch. And I've been in this situation a lot of times. When you're running full speed and that ball is not perfectly thrown, it throws off your balance. And that's why I wasn't able to run in for the touchdown.
Jim Breach kicks it away, and it's going to be returned this time by Kendall Williams. Not a good choice. Tackle made by Kennebrew, a 14-yard check at Stanley Wilson, a 14-yard return. And it'll be first down for Baltimore. 57 seconds it took Cincinnati to score. And, you know, Cincinnati, Gene, must have come out of that huddle and said, hey, we got to hit these guys in a hurry. We've got to get something going. Don't let them get the momentum established after that last touchdown drive for the Colts.
Well, I think they had been looking for that deep pass, though. They've been practicing that all week long because they knew those defensive backs for the Colts would sit back there at about 15 yards and clamp.
First down, 13-yard line of Baltimore. The Colts go to the run. Curtis Dickey, who is back in, gets short yardage, maybe a couple. Eddie Edwards, number 73, the number 1 draft choice to the Bengals, out of Miami of Florida, 1977. Reggie Williams, 57, the linebacker, who came along in 1976, makes the hit. And it's second down 8 after a gain of 2, and we have 20 seconds to go in the first period in Cincinnati, and a lot of scoring here in this first quarter.
Well, you know, you look at that Colts offensive line, and I talked about them before, about how well they're playing. They're a young group, but they're very big. Their tackle, the right tackle, number 76, Jim Mills, 9th round draft pick. He's 6'9", 271 pounds. The center, Ray Donaldson, is 269 pounds. Chris Hinton, number 1 draft choice, 286. These are some very big men.
The Colts let the clock run out to end the first period, and after 1, Cincinnati ahead by 3. Will return after this. Up on the 1 and kicks a field goal. Pagel rolling, looking, being pursued, and in trouble and sacked at the 5. Eddie Edwards, number 73, his 7th sack of the year. He is a great athlete, that guy. Reggie Williams putting pressure on. He's the outside linebacker on the right side.
There you see him, number 57. He's the guy that really forced the action. Coming in, then Eddie Edwards, number 73, who came into this game leading. As a matter of fact, in fact, well, he had 6. I'm sorry, he was 6, and he was second in the AFC. Doug Better's down in Miami leads with 8. Now he adds to that total. He and Maxwell tied, 7 apiece.
It's a loss of almost 8 yards on the play. Third down coming up now for Mike Pagel and the Colts. 3rd and 17 is official. Inside handoff to Dickey. Breaks to the outside and is brought down, pursued by Guy Frazier, the left side linebacker, showing good pursuit, the 3-year man from Wyoming. And now Baltimore will have to punt the ball away as he got only to about the 10.
Well, Dickey was trying to use that great speed to get outside, but he didn't have much room to run. And as you mentioned, Guy Frazier, number 49, the outside linebacker, he has 4.6 speed in the 40-yard dash. There are a lot of wide receivers that aren't that fast.
Oh, that's illegal. Ron Stark, first in the AFC and the NFL in punting with a 48.7 punting average, will boot it away to Mike Martin at his 4th down and 12 for Baltimore. Cincinnati on top, 10-7. We're in the second quarter.
Baltimore having a little trouble trying to figure out how they're going to block for this punt, and they may run out of time.
Low snap. Oh, what a bomb. And received at about the 43-yard line. Williams knocks Mike Martin off his feet. It's first down, Cincinnati. So Stark kicked it 47 yards. And Cincinnati has good field position with 13:15 to go in the first half.
Jim McMahon at quarterback for the Bears. Back to pass. He finds Willie Gault, the sprinter's 5th touchdown of the year. Chicago leads it 14-0. Back to Cincinnati.
So Mr. Gault is having himself a year already for the Chicago Bears, and the Bears are on track today. Cincinnati will put the ball in play in the 49-yard line of the Baltimore Colts. Ross and Harris are in a double tight end setup, and Anderson is quarterback. Baltimore defense does a very good job against that sweep, with Barry Krause leading the charge, the veteran linebacker from Alabama, number 55.
Well, I thought this was going to go for more yardage than it did. You can see Max Montoya out front, number 65, leading the way. But as you mentioned, the linebackers being led by number 55, Barry Krause. They're up to the challenge.
Those linebackers are the strong suit of the Colts defense. Very punishing, very active, very quick. Collinsworth splits to the left on 2nd down, 6. Anderson, 4 out of 4, 83 yards. He's 4 out of 5 now as he underthrew. M.L. Harris, the tight end, incomplete inside the 40. Nesby Glasgow, who had to go to the strong safety spot because of the injury to Larry Anderson, had the coverage on the play, and it's 3rd down for Ken Anderson and the Bengals.
Well, there was some miscommunication in that situation. I mean, there's no way you're supposed to miss that. Anderson was ready to throw the ball, and Harris was still running down the field. I think he was supposed to run a shorter route than he did. You're supposed to hit that one. That's automatic.
Kreider has come in, 3 wideouts in, 1 tight end for Cincinnati on 3rd down.
Could be offsides against the Colts.
Pass completed up the middle. Dan Ross, the tight end, all the way down inside the 20 for 25 yards to about the 19. James Burrows, the left cornerback, number 45, on the hit, but let's see what the flags are about.
I think they're going to decline the penalty. I'm pretty sure.
Offside, number 98 on the defense. Penalty decline.
Johnny Cooks, who was lining up on the outside, offside on the play.
Well, you can see they're trying to get in there, coming with the blitz, trying to put the pressure on. That leaves the tight end, Dan Ross, in a man-to-man situation. There's Nesby Glasgow. No, that's Kim Anderson, number 26, coming from his free safety position. So what happened is that the Colts shifted their defense. Nesby Glasgow went to the outside, and Anderson had to come over and try to pick up Ross, and he missed the tackle.
Ross and Harris in his tight end. Alexander, oh, what a jarring tackle at the 20-yard line.
That's Nesby Glasgow.
Yes,
25.
sir. He's making up for that last one.
You know, it's surprising. He's not a big man, but he really sticks people. And that's why they are able to move him from that free safety position over to strong safety, where he's going to have to come up an awful lot, take on linemen pulling out, particularly those guards. He's going to have to take them on. Let's watch. Here he is on the outside of the screen, number 25, coming up, and he's hitting a man who's about 30 pounds bigger than he is, and he drives him back.
Kreider and Curtis to the right, Collinsworth to the left, 3 wideouts in for Cincinnati on 2nd and 10. Anderson, incomplete, going for Kreider. Steve Kreider, who had a big Super Bowl year for Cincinnati, out of Lehigh, incomplete.
Well, Kreider comes in motion, and now he's in the slot. The man in the slot and 3 wide receivers usually ends up with man-to-man coverage. This is what they were looking for. They had it, but Anderson he just overthrew him. He was open, just threw it too far.
3rd down, 10. Now Kreider goes to the opposite side. In fact, they flood the left side. His first touchdown of the year, 19 yards.
Well, Anderson missed Kreider for the touchdown, but he makes up for it here as he throws a perfect pass to Isaac Curtis. You see Curtis's hands coming up, follows the ball a little bit, but he holds on to it for the touchdown. And in that situation, they had 3 men to the wide side, to the left side. That puts Curtis in a slot. He's the man who is inside the slot, usually gets man-to-man coverage, and this is something they expected. It's the same situation with Kreider, except they missed it. This time they come up with a completion for the touchdown.
Kreider will hold for breach. Cincinnati goes up by 10. So the Bengals strike quickly on 2 possessions and now lead the Baltimore Colts 17-7. We have 11:59 to play in the first half. Cincinnati has it in gear today. 10-point lead over Baltimore as Breach's kickoff is going to go to the far side. And that'll be Kendall Williams on the return. Williams out to the 25, 30, and breaks to the 40. Still on his feet. What a return by Williams. Breaks another tackle. And the play is still going. Kendall Williams on the move down the sideline. Williams finally out of bounds at the 10. I see no flags. And finally pulled down by Robert Jackson. An 88-yard return by Kendall Williams, the first-year man out of Arizona State. We have a Cincinnati player down on the field, but I see no flag. The play will stand. And Forrest Gregg, his reaction to his specialties, what is going on out there?
I have never seen a player break more tackles than Kendall Williams did in that return. You expected a whistle about 3 or 4 times, but he never stopped moving his legs. Let's count the number of times he breaks a tackle. Gets in here. There's one arm tackle. They miss him. Good block. Another arm tackle. Runs right through that. That's 2. There's an arm tackle. That's 3. Gets away from that. Never stops moving his feet. I don't know how he has the stamina to do all of this because he's running through tackles. He's running out of gas now. You can see he's tiring a little bit.
A spectacular return by Kendall Williams. He's inside the 10. It's first and goal. That's worth another look. That's worth a lot of look. He was stopped so many times and yet kept going. Mike Pagel goes to the run. Curtis Dickey inside the 10 to about the 6. Cameron is up there, number 50.
Well, that's the first missed tackle. That's number 35. Jimmy Turner misses the tackle.
This one will definitely make the Baltimore highlight film. Second down, goal to go. The ball near the 6-yard line. Booza splitting wide to the right side. Wide to the left, Bernard Henry. Sherwood in motion. Inside handoff going to Dickey, and Dickey is down to near the 2-yard line. Rick Rosano, number 51, the linebacker, putting the hit on him. The Baltimore Colts trying to bounce back, trailing by 10 here, getting a spectacular return. Washington hangs on to that 7-0 lead over the Los Angeles Raiders on the John Riggin run. Chicago 14-0 over Denver. Jim McMahon to Willie Galt, 15-yard touchdown pass. Dallas is now on the scoreboard on a Septian field goal of 45 yards against Minnesota. And Atlanta trailing Philadelphia. Here we go, third and goal. He did not make it. McMillan plugging to about the 6-inch line. And it will be fourth down, Baltimore. Well, any team that threw on fourth down deep in its own territory probably won't hesitate to run on fourth down here.
Well, you can see the linebacker, number 51, Rick Rosano, filling in and stopping McMillan just short of the goal line by about 2 or 3 inches.
So the Baltimore Colts have taken a timeout. They're going to talk this over. We have 9 minutes and 44 seconds to go in a very explosive first half of football at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. We hope you're enjoying it all. Cincinnati on top, 17-7. But when we come back, it'll be 4th and inches for the Baltimore Colts. Baltimore, 4th down and less than the length of the football to go for a touchdown. Here it is, and we're going to let you watch. For McMillan. So they had the middle jammed up. Baltimore, after talking that play over on the sideline, Frank Cush decided to send McMillan away. Lewis Breeden out there, but he just waltzed in.
Ran in untouched, and that's a fairly unorthodox play because when you only have about 6 inches, you expect a team to go right up the middle. But then Baltimore is not playing traditional football because if they had, they wouldn't have tried that pass play when they were going to punt. I think their attitude is that we're going to do what we think we need to do to get into the end zone to win the football game. I think they're approaching this game like, hey, we have really nothing to lose. We're a team that's young, we're on the rise, and we're going to take some chances.
Raul Allegra, who's missed only one conversion and one field goal attempt this year, bangs another one through. So the Colts come roaring back, starting out with that 88-yard return to the 9-yard line by Kendall Williams and punching it in for the touchdown. And the Bengals' lead has been cut to 3 with 9 minutes and 39 seconds to go in the first half. So this touchdown run by Randy McMillan has put Baltimore right back into it. Raul Allegra, who was born in Mexico, attended the University of Texas, was an outstanding kicker for Fred Akers down there, and now is an outstanding kicker for Baltimore. Kicks it away to Rodney Tate and Stanley Wilson, way back into the end zone, and the Bengals decide not to run it out as Wilson downs the ball. Anderson and company to take over at the 20. Pretty dull ball game, Gene Washington.
I love it. I love it.
My goodness. The points scored, the plays that have been run, the plays that have been called, the returns, long bombs that almost made it, didn't.
Well, there's a scoring drive. 4 plays to go 9 yards. Touchdown by McMillan on a 1-yard run. You know, Cincinnati has the ball now, and everyone has talked about how much they miss Pete Johnson. Let's talk about that a little after they snap the ball.
Alexander is the man, picking up a block on the blitz as Anderson gets that pass away. It's completed at the 42-yard line to Collinsworth. 22-yard pickup, and Alexander did a fine job of picking up the blitz. Derek Hatchett making the tackle.
That's beautiful for a wide receiver. You love to see that kind of action because Anderson gets rid of the ball before Collinsworth even turns around. It's all timing. Beautifully thrown ball. Collinsworth turns around. The ball is already on its way. Comes back, makes the reception. But what I was going to say before is that they miss Pete Johnson, but the guy who they really miss is Archie Griffin, who injured his groin because he's such a good pass receiver coming out of the backfield.
1st and 10 outside the 41. Alexander hit behind the line, breaks the tackle and gets to the 44. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Bengals and the National Football League is prohibited.
Charles Alexander has done a very good job of filling in for Pete Johnson, and he's such a versatile player that when you have Alexander in there on all situations, he's a better receiver than Johnson coming out of the backfield, and that versatility really helps.
That's graphic on Anderson, 150 yards already. Now he goes to the run, and this time he uses Rodney Tate. And Kendall Williams, who had this spectacular 88-yard kickoff return down to the 9-yard line to set up the Baltimore touchdown, makes the hit on Rodney Tate, who is down to the University of Texas. Collinsworth, by the way, has caught 3 passes for 92 yards. We highlighted him, or the lack of his pass catching in the early going this year for Cincinnati in the first 4 games, and lo and behold, he's off to his best day by far.
And for a pass receiver, psychologically, that's so important. When you really feel like you're contributing, not just getting people out of the way by being a decoy, but when you catch the football, it really pumps you up, and you feel like you're really helping your team, and then you just put out more. You play better.
3rd and 10 on the 41. Anderson in the pocket, throwing, has his man, Collinsworth again. Collinsworth a first down at the 35 on a 23-yard pickup. Nesby Glasgow, the strong safety there for the hit, and Collinsworth is over 100 yards, and Ken Anderson well over 100 yards, getting up near 200 now.
Okay, Merle, what has happened? They set up these pass plays by going deep for the big catch. Now they have number 42, Derek Hatchett. He's worried. He's worried about the bomb over his head. So what happens? He's playing way back off. Now they're going to throw the ball in front of him. They'll keep throwing it in front of him until he comes up again. What Baltimore's going to have to do to keep him getting the big one over the head, they're going to have to get their linebackers back out there to help him in those shorter range passes.
Collinsworth is getting a rest. Kreider is in. Tate, the running back. The fullback is Alexander. Anderson completes it inside the 30 to Rodney Tate. Is back. James Burrows, number 45, who's playing the left corner today, makes the hit. And it's a gain of 7 yards.
Well, Baltimore went into the double coverage on the outside, taking away the throws of the wide receivers. The double coverage is when those cornerbacks They come up in the short zone, and the safeties go back to cover deep.
Mark Mosley, 28-yard field goal for Washington. 10-0 over the Raiders for the Redskins. Chicago running over Denver. Pitch to Alexander, running behind Tate. And Alexander has got the speed to get outside. 226-pound fullback, and he's got himself a first down. Minnesota leading Dallas 7-3. And San Francisco 14-6 over New England. Montana has a touchdown pass. Steve Grogan has fired one for New England. Jeff Moore's run one in from 2 yards out for San Francisco. Tate comes out of the ball game. Ross and Harris are in a double tight end setup. Collinsworth back in, split to the left, Curtis to the right. Alexander really working that side now as the Bengals have discovered something over there. Number 78, Steve Parker. Number 98, Johnny Cooks.
Merle, Buffalo, when they played the Colts, they decided to run right at Maxwell at outside linebacker because he's so quick that when you try to run away from him, he's got that quickness gets in and gets you from behind. So what you can do to neutralize a guy like that, you put a tight end on his side. So when you go two tight ends, now he has that tight end in front of him and you run directly at him. So that neutralizes his quickness.
Second down 2 after a gain of 8 by Alexander. Alexander this way. All they did was just change the side of the field, and he may have the first down at about the 11-yard line. Leo Wisniewski, the nose tackle out of Penn State, on the tackle, and Alexander will get a little rest. First down, Cincinnati. Bengals lead 17-14. 3 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the first half.
Well, you can see number 15. That's the backup quarterback. That was Turk Schonert who was sending in the signals. There's Frank Kush on the sideline.
Larry Kennebrew, the big rookie out of Tennessee State, is now the fullback. Anderson looking for Kennebrew. There he is. Can't handle the ball. Larry Kennebrew weighs 252 pounds, 6'1". Not your normal wideout.
Well, he put those big mitts up there. The problem is that he had too long to think about this pass. Look, Anderson kind of dinks it up there. That's just too long to think about it. No way. No way.
Kreider comes in. Kreider comes in now. Rodney Tate coming to the sideline. Okay, they've got three wideouts. What does this do to the defensive secondary?
The defense will usually go 5 backs in a passing situation. They double cover both outside men, so the guy in the slot usually has man-to-man coverage. They may change up.
That's Curtis in the slot, but instead, the Cincinnati Bengals send Kennebrew, and Kennebrew bangs his way down near the 5-yard line. And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WMAR TV2 in Baltimore.
That was a very good call on that play because prior to that, Cincinnati had passed the ball very effectively with their 3 wide receiver formation. So they came in that formation again. Baltimore was expecting the pass, and they had a draw play call.
After a gain of 7, third down 3. In the eye. Tailback gets the call. But the tailback happens to be Steve Kreider. And Kreider is inside the 5, but I believe he's short of a first down. And now the Cincinnati fans react. Greg Bracewell, number 52, the linebacker out of California, on the hit. Cincinnati will have a 4th down and 1, and the Bengals are going to go for it. Bengals leading 17-14. We have the 2-minute warning now at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. So the Bengals knocking on the doorstep to the Baltimore Colts again. with a 4th down and 1, and we'll be back in Cincinnati right after the 2-minute warning. Washington with you. Cincinnati has apparently turned down the field goal attempt, 4th down and 1. They failed to score a touchdown from the one, had to go for a field goal earlier, Gene. Why go for the run here?
Well, if they don't make the first down of the touchdown, Baltimore will get the football. Their backs are backed up against the wall. I think they feel that if they turn the ball over, they'll get it back on a punt and still be in field goal range before the half ends.
Wilson, the tailback, but Anderson is looking. Anderson is running. Anderson gets the touchdown. The Cincinnati Bengals put 6 more on the board, this time on the legs of Kenny Anderson.
In my opinion, this is the best play in football when you get down near the goal line, but you must have a quarterback who can run. Now you have 2 options. He wanted to throw the football, but the Colts did a good job of covering. Now he has the second option of being able to run it in. But unless you have a guy who has the running ability with Ken Anderson, you can't use this play.
Jim Breach for the extra point try, Kreider to hold it. We're under the 2-minute mark, and it's now 24-14, the Cincinnati Bengals. But remember what happened on the last kickoff after a Cincinnati touchdown? The Colts came right back to score, returning the kickoff 88 yards and then going on in. It's 24-14 Cincinnati. Preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. The Bengals lead by 10 as Jim Breach is ready to kick off for the Bengals. Porter is deep into the middle for Cincinnati, but the ball is coming to Moore's side and out of bounds. That will cost the Bengals 5. Alvin Moore, a rookie out of Arizona State, a real scooter who's averaged 23 yards on kickoff return. Cincinnati, 80 yards, 12 plays. Execution.
Perfect. Like I said, I love that play down on the goal line where the quarterback has the option of running or throwing it. And Anderson does that play as well, if not better than any quarterback.
You know, Forrest Gregg was complaining about his team being penalized so much. Not complaining about the officials, but just that they were making so many mistakes. That's the first penalty for the Bengals today.
The Colts, the same problem. I think in the first 3 games they had 35, 37 penalties. Cush even had the director of the officials come down and give them a talk about the various penalties. Art McNally spent a day down there. After that happened, the number of penalties called against them was reduced.
Breach from the 30 this time after the 5-yard penalty.
Well, he's trying to keep that ball away from Kendall Williams.
He sure kept it away from the last time, all the way across the field. This time it is going to Williams. At the 8. And he is yanked down at about the 25. His last return, 88 yards. This one, 16 yards. Tom Dinkel on the special teams and Ron Simpkins are both linebackers for Cincinnati. Down to make the tackle. 1:47 seconds to go in the first half. So Jim Breach indeed kicked the ball to Williams, but indeed the coverage team was right on him. First down, 25. Pagel in trouble, trying to run out of it back to the 25-yard line where Eddie Edwards pulls him down from behind. Boy, you could see that defensive secondary of Cincinnati reacting to the situation. That's just like you draw it on a board.
They had excellent coverage. Pagel had no place to go, and Eddie Edwards used his speed for the sack.
2nd and 10. Pagel this time completes it near the 35. I believe short of a first down. We'll have to see where they mark it.
But there are 2 flags down on the play. I think it's going to be holding against Baltimore.
Tim Sherwin received the ball. Guy Frazier made the hit.
Well, I see Eddie Edwards down there clapping his hands along with Ross Browner. So they're obviously happy about the penalty. There you see the time remaining, 1 minute and 30 seconds in this first half.
Holding, number 76, offense, 2nd down.
That's big Jim Mills, the rookie from Hawaii, the right tackle at 6'9", 271 pounds. He's a good run blocker. But It's the passing situation here. He's big enough to be a good pass blocker, too. If Pagel can just get the ball over his head. Now there are 6 defensive backs on the field for Cincinnati on this second down. Pagel, open field ahead at the 25, dives to about the 27. Takes a pretty good smack from Robert Jackson, the free safety, out of Central Michigan. And now it will be 3rd down and 8, and a minute 20 seconds left to go in the first half. Cincinnati leading 24-14, and Mike Pagel calls timeout to stop the clock.
Well, Baltimore would love to be able to get down in field goal range. If they can get a shot at a field goal, narrow that gap a little bit, and I think they really would like to go in with some points on the board. They love to have a touchdown, but I think what they're really going to play for is to try to get down and take a shot at a field goal.
Pagel talking to Zeke Bratkowski, the offensive coordinator, former Bear and Packer quarterback, and offensive coordinator to Bart Starr. Coming up next, the San Diego Chargers will try to get on track against the tough defense of the New York Giants, who were so outstanding last Monday night against Green Bay. Or in some areas, you'll see the Miami Dolphins take on the New Orleans Saints at the Louisiana Superdome. So stay with us for a full day of football right here on NBC Sports. 2 very interesting games. Forrest Gregg, his defense last week called upon. This week, it's the offense that has rolled to 24 points in the first half. Now the defense called upon on 3rd down 8. 6 defensive backs on the field for Cincinnati. Pagel finds the spot to Booza, but Horton is there to make the hit. Now let's see where they mark the ball. First down. Pagel going with no huddle. He's got a first down on the play. A minute 5 seconds left in the first half. Pagel to the near side, trying to kill the clock. Throws it to Dickey, out of bounds. So Curtis Dickey was out of bounds when he received the ball. That'll stop the clock with 59 seconds to go in the first half. You know, Baltimore, if Pagel can hit a couple of passes here and get Allegra into the ball game, as we see why the pass is incomplete, he was out of bounds. Allegra has kicked a 52-yard field goal this year, so he's got the leg for the long ball. Right now, the ball at the 38-yard line of Baltimore, 2nd and 10. Defensive backs on the drop. Incomplete. Intended for McMillan. Covered by Reggie Williams, the linebacker. Reggie was right on him.
What Cincinnati is doing so well, though, is that they're covering the outside receivers, the wide receivers, very well. They have a man head up on the line of scrimmage. He's jousting them around, and what that does is that it takes the receiver longer to get in his pass pattern. He has to get around the first guy, then there's another defender picking him up. So Pagel is not going to have a very good shot at throwing to his wide people. He'll probably have to get the ball down the center of the field, either to his tight end or to one of the running backs.
Collins has been brought in for the pass rush. That's 5 defensive backs now on 3rd down and 10. And it is incomplete. Dickey had it go right through his hands. We've got a flag drop. Bobby Kemp had the coverage. And Dickey caught that ball. And with his, we've got a holding call as the indication against Baltimore.
Holding number 72, offense. Penalty is declined.
Carl Baldischweiler, the defensive, or rather the offensive tackle. There he is, Big Carl from Oklahoma, who came the first week of camp at a trade with Detroit, guilty of holding.
Well, that's a tough situation. He's blocking against number 67. That's Gary Burley, who's coming from the outside. Baldischweiler is a big, strong guy, but he doesn't have quick feet, and he has a tough time when he's playing against the defensive end with quickness.
48 seconds to go as Ron Stark comes in to boot it away. His average for the day, 1 for 47. His average for the year, 48. And Mike Martin is deep for Cincinnati. We have 47 seconds to go in the first half. Look at that ball go airborne. My goodness, up there with the satellite, where Martin has trouble fielding it. Now back to the 10, breaks tackles out across the 15 to near the 18-yard line. A 51-yard kick by Ron Stark. Now we're down to 35 seconds to go in the first half. Cincinnati leading by 10 at 24-14.
When he punts the football, it reminds you of Ray Guy in his prime, doesn't he? Boots it up really high.
Gives those guys a chance to get downfield on the coverage. Kreider is coming in as a wideout. Alexander is in. We're going to show you just what Mr. Stark can do when he puts his foot into the ball. He knows it's good. Yes, sir. 1st and 10, Cincinnati on the Bengal 18. Anderson goes down under a rush. Number 78, Steve Parker, the rookie out of Eastern Illinois who has done graduate work at Northwestern, coming on to sack Kenny Anderson.
Yeah, Steve Parker is the only man that Frank Cush brought with him from Canada. He's a very intelligent player, very strong, but he doesn't just rely on his strength. He tries to figure out during the course of the game, how can I beat this guy mentally? And I tell you, he used that quickness that time as he shot back in there and got Anderson. I was really surprised, though, that they dropped back to throw the football. I mean, just a few seconds ago, I thought they'd just automatically keep it on the ground.
The Bengals have really played wide open today as they let the clock run out and the Colts let the clock run out. And so the first half has come to an end as Anderson and company lead the field with a 10-point lead. Cincinnati on top by a score of 24-14. And we've reached the end of the first half, 24. A score of 24-14. And we've reached the end of the first half, 24-14. And we look at them at halftime and see what they did. They did go over the top early with Collinsworth. He fell down. You saw the play. And Cincinnati has really opened the game up. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. With you at halftime in Cincinnati. Well, I thought the remarks which you had taped earlier, the ones that he gave you earlier on your taped interview with Kenny Anderson, were rather prophetic as to what happened in the first half. He must have known the game plan.
Well, you know, you watch the other team all week long. You watch the film, and you can pick up tendencies. If you see those defensive backs, they drop back there and they sit and they're looking at the action, and they get the jump on the ball when it's thrown underneath. Then you say, hey, we can go up at the top of these guys. And they did it. Now, the key is that after they threw that long pass, now Hatch and the other guys are sitting back. They're saying in their minds, I can't let them get behind me. Now they're throwing the ball in front of them. And I think Cincinnati will continue to throw the ball in front until they come up to make the play.
Forrest Gregg on the right has played wide open football. Nobody could be more wide open than Frank Cush when he elected to throw the football on 4th down deep in his own territory. All it cost him was 3 points and a field goal as his defense stopped the Bengals on the 1-yard line.
Well, you know, when a coach does that, when they, the first part of the football game, he's not afraid to take the result. I mean, if he comes up with a completion, it's a great play. If you don't make it, everybody second guesses you. But at least he has the, the courage to say, hey, we're going to do some things to try to get things going in our direction, get some momentum. It didn't work, but it's been wide open. Both teams have played very good football.
And certainly it adds a lot of confidence to his team to know the coach is behind him in such a situation. Today's game is brought to you by Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks for the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge. By Arby's, home of deli specialty sandwiches, including Arby's Sub and Roast Beef Deluxe. And by Michelob Light, an exceptional light beer with a rich, smooth taste. Forrest Gregg and his Cincinnati Bengals will be doing the kicking here as we open the second half. The Bengals on top 24-14. Raul Allegra, I said Cincinnati kicking up on the receiving end, obviously. Raul Allegra will kick off for the Baltimore Colts. Tate and Wilson are deep. And it's Wilson. Wilson getting out to about the 25, and a second effort gets him across the 25-yard line. It will be marked at the 27. So Tate gets it back 22 yards where Rick Porter makes the stop. Cincinnati first possession here in the third quarter. Kenny Anderson, who had a great first half, throwing for 2 touchdowns, running one over himself. Rodney Tate, Charles Alexander will be his running backs. You're looking at Dan Ross, number 89, the tight end. Wilson, 77, the right tackle. Montoya, 65, the right guard. Moore 60 at center. Lapham 62, the left guard. Obrovic 68, the left tackle. Collinsworth and Curtis are out. And it is picked off. And look who has gone down the sideline. None other than Kendall Williams, who returned a kickoff 88 yards to set up a Baltimore touchdown. Alexander knocked it out of bounds, or he would have on his way.
Well, Kendall Williams was sitting back rather deep, but he read this play all the way. He was looking at Anderson. As soon as Kenny released the ball, he just took off in front of Isaac Curtis. Isaac didn't see him coming. Otherwise, he would have tried to knock the football away. But I tell you, that's a brilliant play on the part of number 45. That's his second great play of the day.
Yes, sir. And now, Cincinnati gambled deep in its own territory. Baltimore has the football. Let's see what the Colts can do at the 21 of Cincinnati. That's Booza in motion. The run with Dickey. 20, 15. Out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Ray Horton, number 20, the quarterback, finally got Curtis Dickey out of bounds. It'll be first and goal to go on the 9-yard line of the Bengals, who lead in this game, 24-14.
I would expect the Colts to continue, as they did in the first half when they first started off, running the football with Dickey and McMillan, trying to eat up some of that time on the clock, trying to keep Cincinnati's offense off the field.
First down and goal on the 9. McMillan pulls his way in, touchdown. That's just good old-fashioned hard running right there.
Well, you're going to see McMillan. He gets the football out here. One of the defenders comes up at about the 2-3 yard line, but he just runs right over him. That's Lewis Breeden coming into play. But quite honestly, when you're up against a guy who outweighs you by about 20 or 30 pounds, it's awfully tough to just stop him cold like that. Nancy Glasgow is one of the few little guys who might have a chance to do it. I wouldn't want to be in that situation.
Raul Allegra, who has missed only one extra point try this year, it was blocked, will try to bring the Colts within 3. Got contact on the line. More than contact, we've got some real pushing and shoving going on.
Encroachment, defense, penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
That'll cost Cincinnati 5 on the kickoff. So Allegra getting all tuned up again. He was drafted by the Cowboys and came under the tutelage of Ben Agajanian, who really helped him in the Cowboys camp this year. And this time it is good. So the Colts get on the scoreboard in a hurry here in the third quarter with 14 minutes and 29 seconds left to play in the third quarter. And all of a sudden, Baltimore is right back in the ball game. Cincinnati leads it by a score of 24-20, and Forrest Gregg doesn't like what he just saw. Allegra kicking off for Baltimore with Tate 23, Wilson 32 back. Going to come back to Rodney Tate, a yard deep in the end zone. Flags go down as Tate tries to get to the outside and is bulldogged down near the 20.
But when a flag is thrown in that situation, it's usually an illegal block against the receiving team.
Gary, well, let's see who did it. Conference by the officials, simply walking away. What did you see? Not a situation here of, as we take a look at the officials, Bob McElwee is the referee, Al Conway the umpire. But this is just,
Block was legal.
okay. That's exactly what we're talking about. After the flag was thrown, the officials discussed it. You heard the call. No foul. Block was legal.
Well, Frank Kush doesn't think so. I mean, he's going to go over and he's going to say, well, wait a minute. But I think that's a good situation. If there's a call and if another official sees it from a different angle, they come together, they consult. He says, I thought I saw it, but if another guy says, hey, I saw it, it was clean, pick up the flag, no penalty. I think that's great.
I do too. It's not indecision. You know, we went through this with the rules with Art McNally a year or so ago. It's a question of having the officials get away from the players where they can properly discuss it, and then the decision is made. Tate and Alexander are the running backs for the Bengals. First down at the 20. Anderson going up high for Collinsworth again, and what a catch by Collinsworth. Kendall Williams defending against Collinsworth, and Collinsworth, who is 6'5", Williams, who is 5'9". That is a mismatch.
Well, they've taken out Derek Hatchett because he got beat before. They put Kendall Williams over there. Williams does a better job of coverage. Anderson lost his ball up. It's really too highly thrown, except, as you mentioned before, Collinsworth has a height advantage. Goes up, good concentration. Look at the concentration. Makes a superb catch. Outstanding catch. Chris Collinsworth, 5 receptions on a day.
And 46 yards on that one. 51,161 looking on. In Cincinnati, the ball is down on the Baltimore 30. Anderson flares it incomplete. Intended for Alexander. We have 13 minutes and 14 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Cincinnati 24, Baltimore 21.
Kenny Anderson would like to try to get one of his receivers isolated man-to-man, but Baltimore has played zone defense. The last 3 pass plays have been on a zone defense. They're not giving Cincinnati the man-to-man coverage situation.
It is a second down coming up on the Baltimore 30. And the blitz is on. He got it away, completed to M.L. Harris. He had 2 tight ends in. M.L. Harris, the second tight end, takes the ball inside the 30. Kendall Williams making the hit.
Well, there he is, number 83. Comes across field, and he looks at that ball quickly because he knows that they're blitzing. Turns up, front of the defender. That's number 44 coming up, Kendall Williams, to make the stop. But as I mentioned before, the tight end is usually the man who reads that blitz right away because he can see the linebackers coming to the inside as he leaves the line of scrimmage.
The gain of 7, the ball at the 27. Tate is now in as a running back. There's Anderson rolling right, keeping the football and diving down to the 20-yard line. So Kenny Anderson faked to Alexander first. As Alexander was going the other way, just simply tucked the ball in and went for the first down. Williams again over there. That little guy's all over the place. He may be only 5'9", but he likes to mix it up.
Well, there's Greg trying to get his troops in the right place. Kenny Anderson running that option play. And as long as he's back in position behind the line of scrimmage, and as long as his linemen have not gone downfield, he still has the option to throw. So the defense cannot commit. They can't come up until the linemen come across the line of scrimmage, or Anderson comes across himself.
Tate is lined up wide to the left. Collinsworth in the slot left. He's looking for Collinsworth. 20-yard touchdown pass to Collinsworth as he beat Tim Anderson. Collinsworth finally gets himself a touchdown this year.
They accomplished what they wanted. They got the man-on-man. Baltimore was forced to double cover the outside guys. Collinsworth in the slot. He faked Tim Anderson to the corner, then came back to the post, just left him flat-footed, picks up the touchdown.
Collinsworth, 6 catches, 181 yards. What a day. Now Breach for the extra point try, and Kreider will hold it. Right up the middle, and the Bengals go up by 10 once again with 12 minutes and 6 seconds left to play in the third quarter. It's the Bengals 31 and the Baltimore Colts 21, and we'll return to Cincinnati right after this. Jim Breach kicks off for the Bengals, who lead by 10 again. These Baltimore Colts just keep coming back, though. And let's watch this return. Not too much on this one. Kendall Williams, who has been an electrifying player today, one on an 88-yard return, and then on a pass interception brought down by John Simmons after returning that one 20. In fact, I note now that officially they're giving him a 90-yard kickoff return. So at halftime, they checked the stats and found that he deserved 2 more yards.
Well, Ray Butler has come into the ball game for the Colts, number 80, lined up on the left side.
At the 25, first down. Pagel, nothing to the left side, throws it on the run and completes it for a short gain as Guy Frazier is all over Tim Sherwin, the tight end. Eddie Edwards was putting the pressure on, the quarterback pressure. Edwards got his 7th sack today.
Well, he faked the play action. I think he wanted to come out here to Ray Butler, who'd just come into the ball game. But Cincinnati's linebackers did a good job in the coverage. And as you mentioned, he came to his layoff receiver, the secondary man, the tight end, number 83, Tim Sherwin.
Gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down 7 for the Bengals. 11 minutes, 18 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Bengals lead 31-21. And incomplete, overthrowing Booza. Something went wrong on that pattern. The coverage by Ray Horton, the rookie, and pressure by Jerry Boyarski, the nose tackle, the 3-year veteran from Pittsburgh. Pagel, 7 out of 12, 58 yards. Anderson has had a big day for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's a 3rd down, 7. Here comes the blitz. They get to Pagel.
Louis Breeden coming from his defensive back position on the blitz. There he is, getting congratulated. He came on the blitz and he was untouched. Had a clear path to the quarterback.
So the punting unit comes on, and now the Baltimore Colts will need a very strong kick by Ron Stark, the left footer. Mike Martin will be back deep in a single safety for the Cincinnati Bengals. Stark has averaged 50 on 2 yards. He's 48 plus for the year, best in the NFL. But look at that ball get up in the air almost to the top of the stadium where it is fielded and returned by Martin. And Martin is fumbles the football. Colts pick it up, and let's see that possession last.
It's going to be ball. The Colts made a mistake and not trying to fall on the ball. The ball's going to go back to Cincinnati now because they were the last ones to have possession. The ball popped loose. One of the Colts tried to pick it up and try to run with it, but he never had control. The ball goes back to Cincinnati.
And so we have a timeout on the field. 10:46 to go. Cincinnati leads by 10 here in the 3rd quarter.
Bottom of your screen, number 26. That's Bobby Kemp, who almost blocks this Ron Stark punch. Goes up, just misses it. They had it called right. There was no one there to block him.
And so Mike Martin, who returned, fumbled the ball. It was batted around, and the moral of the story there, if you're a linebacker, don't try to run the football. Just fall on it and get it over with. Recover the ball. Don't try to run it, right?
Yeah, you know, you have to have the presence of mind to know what the situation is. If it's a situation where you're close to the sideline and you have to have control of the football, you say fall on it. First thing he was thinking about was a touchdown.
Stark 3 punts, 51-yard average, and here's the ball.
Ball goes out, trying to pick it up, fall on it, get possession of it.
All right, Cincinnati's football now. Alexander, big hole up the middle, out across the 30 for about 10. He may have the first down. Charles Alexander has done an outstanding job today. And we'll check scores up in the ball game. Minnesota over Dallas, 24-13 at halftime. Wow. Steve Dill's doing a fine job quarterbacking Minnesota. Houston, 3 over Pittsburgh. Earl Campbell has scored to put them ahead. San Francisco, 23-6 over New England. Wershing, field goals all over the place today for San Francisco. Going to be a little short. It'll be a second down. And the length of the football, maybe. Ross and Harris are both in now as tight ends. Collinsworth and Curtis are the wideouts. Kenny Anderson has thrown for over 200 yards today, 250 yards. Alexander getting the first down, plenty to spare, out across the 35 to the 36. Steve Parker coming up to make the hit.
Cincinnati's offensive line doing a good job. In the middle of your screen, number 69, that's the nose guard for the Colts, Leo Wisniewski. And you can see that number 60, Blake Moore, is down on his knees, but he's still scrambling, keeping him away from the action until Charles Alexander is able to run up there and pick up the first down.
Tate is in, Harris is out. 1 tight end, 2 wideouts. Running back split wide, and Alexander the single back. Flares it to Alexander. Alexander hit at the 38. Alexander has been a workhorse, running the ball and catching the ball. But Collinsworth has had an outstanding day on the receiving end. James Burrows, 45, the left cornerback up to make the hit. Anderson is now 13 out of 18 for 258 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Kreider has checked into the game. Now they have 3 wide receivers. Isaac Curtis is going to line up in the slot. This is a situation puts a lot of pressure on the Colts defensive backs. There's 3 wide guys out here.
Second down, 6 after a pickup of 4 by Alexander. Alexander on the run. Alexander a first down and more. Got a pretty good block from Mike Wilson, the right tackle, number 77. Kendall Williams, number 44, the little guy at 5'9", 190 pounds, out of Arizona State. Finally knocked Alexander down. 11 rushes, 45 yards for Alexander.
That was a good play call, good play selection, because it was in this passing situation. The Colts had come in with their 5 defensive backs, and you expected a pass. You see number 85, Isaac Curtis, is blocking number 44, and he gets just a good enough block. He blocked Kendall Williams, and he held on to him just long enough for Alexander to pick up the first down.
Tate is lining up as a flanker wide left. Anderson again flares to Alexander. At the 48 of Baltimore. First hit made by James Burrows, 45.
Well, this is the versatility that Alexander has. Not only can he run the ball well, but he's a good receiver coming out of the backfield. Anderson looked downfield. The Colts linebackers were deep in the coverage. And as they've done so often, when there's nothing downfield, they lay the ball off to one of their running backs.
That stat belongs to Mr. Anderson. Best completion percentage right at 71 NFL history. Emil Harris back in as a tight end. They've got 2 men in there now, 2 big guys. On second down, 5 after a 5-yard pickup. Alexander chewing up the middle. A flag goes down as he crosses the 45 down to the 43 of Baltimore. 7 minutes, 44 seconds to go in the third quarter. Cincinnati leading by 10 at 31-21.
Well, it's going to be holding against Cincinnati.
This game has been relatively penalty-free today.
Very few penalties called, especially when you compare it to the first 2 or 3 games of the season.
For both teams. So now the Bengals are back in their own territory. We'll find out why.
Holding, number 77, offense, second down.
Mike Wilson, who had made good blocks for Charles Alexander on the sweep right, this time guilty of holding. The ball goes back to the 42, and it becomes second down, 16. The Bengals have had 2 penalties for 15 yards. The Colts 2 penalties for 16 yards. Second and 16 for Cincinnati. Bengals lead by 10. How about Cooks on the rush, and it was Johnny Cooks on the blitz. Thompson coming from the left side, but Cooks must have yelled over and said, "Let me have him."
Johnny Cooks gets back there before Ken Anderson does. Look at this. He doesn't even get back there to set up, and Johnny Cooks is all over it.
So now the Bengals find themselves going the other way. Kim Anderson today playing the free safety with Nesby Glasgow moving over to play the strong safety. Johnny Cooks, who played for Emory Ballard at Mississippi State. Outstanding football player, collegiate, learning to play in the pros. Third down, 23. Anderson going long for Curtis. Incomplete. Isaac Curtis going deep, and Burrows staying right with him. James Burrows, the second-year man from Michigan State. That'll bring on McAnally to punt for the first time today for Cincinnati.
The first punt?
First one. He must feel like the forgotten man. Cincinnati leading 31-21.
Well, James Burrows had good coverage in that last play. He was running with Isaac step for step, knocking it away.
McAnally has averaged 41. You know, talking to some of the Bengals prior to the ballgame, they said they might test his side. Well, he's responded pretty well. McAnally gets it away. Down he goes. And no flag is thrown. Pretty good acting there. We're going to have a return by Baltimore. Tackle broken by Rick Porter. Porter gets back to the other side, picks up a little wall. Now let's see what he can do. Porter all the way down to the 25-yard line before Bobby Kemp can bring him down. And Larry Kennebrew right there. I guess it was Kennebrew who will get the tackle. A 40-yard punt and a 50-yard return. Forrest Gregg says, "Wait a minute, we're not doing this right. That's a -10.
Baltimore special teams have put forth a tremendous effort. And there was a block on that last play. Someone got a block on Rodney Holman, the tight end for Cincinnati. And it'll take you a long time before you'll see a hit like that. Let's watch again. McAnally punts the ball, and he fakes it here. He does a good job of acting.
All right.
Watch this block. I think he might. Oh, no, we missed it.
We've got to go back to the live action. Maybe we can pick it up a little later on. Pagel to throw. Pagel to the near side to Dickey. Dickey with a move inside. Down to the 12. Down near the 11-yard line. And Ray Horton makes the tackle. Robert Jackson also there on the stop. A gain of 13 yards by Dickey. Here's that Porter run. Now watch. Look for the block.
We didn't see it. It was a great block over there. Porter does an excellent job of returning that punt. Gets Baltimore down inside the 15-yard line, down to about 11 now.
The Colts trailing by 10 points, 6 minutes, 12 seconds to go in the third quarter. 31-21, Cincinnati. Dickey right up the middle, just plowing his way. You saw Guy Frazier, 49. Pulling him down from behind as he gets inside the 10 with a 9. Reggie Williams, 57, the other outside linebacker, also helping out. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 2, WMAR-TV, Baltimore.
Merle, Harmon, and Gene Washington with you in Cincinnati. The Bengals lead by 10. They led at halftime by 10. Both teams have scored here in the third quarter, and Baltimore knocking on the door again. Second down, 8. Dickey, the man in motion. Pagel under a rush. He's going to go down at the 20. Reggie Williams, number 57, gets the tackle, and the ball will be marked at the 18.
Well, this is where Baltimore gets hurt when they're in a passing situation. They don't have the wide receivers that have the speed and quickness, for example, that Cincinnati has. He was looking for a receiver, didn't find anybody. Number 57, Reggie Williams, from his outside linebacking position, comes up, makes the sack.
Fourth sack today for the Cincinnati Bengals. The only other option that Pagel would have had was just crank up and throw the ball clear out of the end zone. Third down, 17. 6 defensive backs on the field now for Cincinnati. Swing to McMillan. McMillan yanked down at about the 11, the original line of scrimmage by Gary Burley. number 67, the 8-year veteran from Pittsburgh. And the field goal unit comes on, and that will mean Raul Allegra, who has kicked them all but one this year. He's 10 out of 11 in the field goal department. 2 for 2 in the 20 to 29 range. 4 for 4, 30 to 39 range. 3 out of 4 from the 40-yard to 49-yard range. And he kicked a 52-yarder. So he has missed only one, and this should be an easy one for him. 28-yard effort. Ball will be held at the 18.
That's Ron Stark, the punter, who's doing the holding. It's usually a quarterback.
Allegra pops it through, so he's 11 out of 12 this year. What a job he has done for the Baltimore Colts. And now with 4 minutes, 34 seconds to play in the third quarter, it's the Bengals 31 and the Baltimore Colts 24. Here in Cincinnati, it's 4 minutes, 34 seconds to go in the third quarter, and yes, that score is correct. Boy, this has been some offensive day, Gene.
It's kind of score you might expect if the Chargers were playing Seattle, but not two teams that have defenses like these do.
Or did have, anyway. Rodney Tate, Stanley Wilson deep. It's going to be Tate at the 1 on the kickoff by Allegra. And Tate bangs his way out around the 23-yard line. Tate, a second-year man from Texas, against Allegra. They used to be teammates down there. 22-yard return. Kenny Anderson comes on the field. 14 out of 20, 262 yards. That's 70% worth today. Look at Ricky Jones, number 51. He sliced between about 3 guys. Larry Kennebrew is now in as a running back. Alexander probably needs a little rest. Rodney Tate is the other running back now for Cincinnati. First down on the Bengal 23. Anderson finds the spot on the 36. And he connects with Isaac Curtis, the 11-year veteran from San Diego State, and James Burrows had the coverage on the play. First down.
McKinney really threaded the needle. He got it in between both linebackers. Sanders Shiver on the outside and Johnny Cooks in the middle. Throws it right in between them. Isaac Curtis, the veteran receiver, knowing that the most important thing is to catch the ball, hold on to it. That's what he did. First down.
Curtis now 3 out of 43 for 1 touchdown. First down. Tate in motion. Kennebrew, the big fullback, trying to go wide. The defense reacts. He's out across the 40 to the 41. Greg Braceland, number 52, a 4-year veteran from California, on the hit. Got one score here that we haven't looked at before. Seattle 10-3. Kurt Warner, the great running back out of Penn State, getting another touchdown. They're talking about Warner as being one of the great superstar runners in the NFL.
Well, I did their preseason games, and he is superb. Great speed and terrific strength, too. Outstanding runner.
2nd and 6. Tate in motion. Kennebrew. This time he bowls his way near the midfield stripe for a first down. Getting almost 8 yards on the play before Kim Anderson, number 26, the free safety, can make the hit.
Well, it sounds like the crowd is almost booing, but what they're saying is brew, brew. Let's watch again. But the offensive line doing a good job of blocking. Kennebrew doesn't get hit until he's about 5 yards downfield.
Now it's a double tight end offense. Can you imagine Kennebrew and Pete Johnson in the same backfield, both over 250 pounds? That is when Pete gets down to 250. Kennebrew runs into his own blocker. Is stopped at midfield. That might be the hardest his blocker has been hit this year. Steve Parker, number 78, makes the tackle, the rookie. Cincinnati's offense, 2nd in 1982, 27th in 1983. That's what Forrest Gregg has been talking about. Where's the offense? Last week, he credited the defense. This week, he has seen some offense. But he has also seen the opposition special teams tear his Bengals apart. Rodney Holman is now in as the tight end. Harris is out. Ross is the other tight end. Holman sets right. Kennebrew trying to get that first down. He's across the 45 in Baltimore territory. And I believe they'll mark the ball just across the 45. He'll be short by about 3. Steve Parker, 78 on the hit. So Kennebrew has picked up 26 yards now and 5 carries.
Well, Cincinnati really overloaded their string to the right side. They had both tight ends, both Ross and Holman on the right side. And they just blocked straight ahead, man on man. You can see Ross, number 89, he's taking on Donnell Thompson. And that leaves Rodney Holman out against Nesby Glasgow.
Steve Kreider has now come in as a wideout. Holman has gone out. 3rd and short. Looks like it's going to be 4th and short. Rodney Tate on the carry. So Cincinnati fails to make the first down. The ball just about where it started out on that play. Wait till Forrest sees the film to this one. He'll see some good things. He'll see some things that will upset him. Pat McAnally to punt for the second time. He did not punt in the first half. 3 seconds to go in the third quarter, and I believe that'll be it. In fact, that will be it. There's the end of the third period. The Bengals, who led at halftime by 24-14, now lead at the end of 3 quarters by a score of 31-24. Should have a very interesting fourth quarter coming up. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. It is brought to you by Jeep Cherokee and Jeep Wagoneer. When it comes to four-wheel drive, one word says it all. Jeep. By AT&T Information Systems. And by a tool from modern times, the IBM Personal Computer. We're going into the fourth quarter in Cincinnati. I'm Merle Harmon along with Gene Washington, and you're looking at Pat McAnally, who's about to kick for the second time today for Cincinnati. The ball, the line of scrimmage on 4th down and 3 is on the 44-yard line of Baltimore.
McAnally is one of the best in getting that ball out of bounds down inside the 20. He's trying to do it this time. Oh, beautiful.
Ball is down on the 4-yard line by John Simmons. A 40-yard punt by McAnally.
Can't ask for any better. That was perfect.
Now the Colts have some distance to pick up.
Pat McAnally on the right side of your screen. He just punted, and he's watching. Check out this reaction.
Way to go, guys. You made a hero out of me. Look at this Cincinnati defense swarm with Browner leading the charge. So McMillan gets banged by Browner. Third quarter stats. There's the story. The Bengals. Wow, 358, 176. Look at the passing yardage. Pagel has hit 9 out of 15 for 81 yards for the game. Second down, 10. Tackle, and McMillan trying to get a little daylight out to about the Dickey rather out to about the 9-yard line. Lewis Breeden, the left cornerback, makes the hit for Cincinnati. So Dickey gets Pagel a little bit of room.
Well, Curtis Dickey breaks 2 tackles. Guy Frazier has the first shot. Eddie Edwards, number 73, coming up. He misses. Good strong running effort by Curtis Dickey.
35 yards and 10 carries today for Curtis. It is third down, 7. And the crowd calls for Cincinnati's defense to turn it on. Draw. McMillan out across to 15. He's got the first down. Glenn Cameron, the right inside linebacker, makes the tackle. And so the Baltimore Colts keep the football.
Well, that's a great 1-2 punch with Curtis Dickey and Randy McMillan in the same backfield. Let's take a look at this offensive line for the Colts. They get the job done because McMillan really isn't touched by a defender until he gets about 5-6 yards down the field. Big offensive line for the Colts. Big, young, very aggressive.
Play action with Pagel. Pagel drills it down the middle, and he's got a completion at the 33-yard line. Lewis Breeden had the coverage on the play.
That's Tracy Porter, number 87. Fellow the Colts acquired from Detroit. He's got very good speed. Comes downfield and he just breaks underneath the coverage inside to the middle. Goes up really high, makes a good catch. Number 34, Lewis Breeden, coming over to make the tackle.
A gain of 17 yards by Porter, and the Colts have started to move the ball out. They started inside their own 5-yard line. They're at their 34. Pagel going to the near side. He's got another completion at the 48-yard line.
Matt Boozer. As I mentioned before, Boozer doesn't have great speed, but he runs a good pattern, breaks it off well, and gets an excellent throw from Pagel. This is something they didn't do very much of in the first half, throwing the ball outside to the outside receivers. They were throwing the ball more inside to the backs and to the tight end. Now they've changed their philosophy a little bit, and it's working well for them so far.
A 17-yard pickup and a 15-yard pickup on that one. Pagel on a slant in is inside the 45-yard line at the 42. And it's Bernard Henry this time, with Horton and Jackson on the hit. So Pagel is really mixing it up now with his receivers.
Well, he drilled that one in there. Didn't have very much room. The defender was all over Henry. But Henry positioned himself between the defender and the ball. Nice throw.
9 yards. Second down, actually less than a yard to go. Sherwin, the tight end, sets up on the left side. They go to the run. McMillan bangs his way for the first down near the 36. And Robert Jackson, the free safety, along with Lewis Breeden, number 34. Breeden gets the tackle.
Watch the block from number 23. That's Alvin Moore. That's what makes the play right there. He blocks on Guy Frazier, the linebacker, giving McMillan room to get outside. Alvin Moore is not a big guy. He made a good block on Guy Frazier, the linebacker.
10 minutes, 14 seconds left to go in the ball game. Newton Williams is now as a running back for the Baltimore Colts. Bengals lead 31-24. Baltimore on the march. Curtis Dickey to the 32, and Guy Frazier, the linebacker, makes the stop. He might be near the 31-yard line. Tim Crumright, the All-American from Wisconsin, who is in there now, number 69, defensively for Cincinnati, assisting on the tackle. Crumright usually plays when they go to a 4-man front. That's Crumright. 10th round draft choice. A lot of people thought he should have gone higher than that. He was injured a lot as a senior at the University of Wisconsin. Had a great junior year. Second down, 7. Little reverse. No real estate left. Curtis Dickey run out of bounds by Guy Frazier. Field was going the wrong way for Dickey.
They didn't fool anyone on that play. Dickey used his speed to outrun the first defender, but by the time he got outside, there were at least 3 Cincinnati guys there waiting for him.
What Dickey has done against Cincinnati in 3 seasons. Third down, 10. The ball just outside the 35-yard line of the Bengals. Tim Sherwin has gone out as the tight end for Baltimore. Booz is in. 6 defensive backs are coming on. Booz is in there. Porter is in. Henry is in. 3 wideouts for Baltimore. Third and 10. Incomplete. Intended for Tracy Porter. Broken up by Bobby Kemp, the strong safety.
Well, Tracy Porter, if he caught the ball, I guess you could say it was a very good catch. But I think he should have really come up with it here. He has it. Oh, yeah, now that I look at it on the replay, it hits him right in the hands. I thought he had to make much more of an effort than he did, but he didn't have to jump that high, and he should have come up with that reception.
Raul Allegra will try to get 3 out of it. This will be a 53-yard effort from the 43. Stark will hold. Allegra has kicked one 52 earlier this year for Baltimore. He's got the distance. It is good. Allegra just established a new mark for himself. And the Baltimore Colts settle for 3 with 9 minutes and 4 seconds left to play in the game.
This is an outstanding kick. He gets all of his leg into this one. Now this puts them in great shape because a touchdown will put them out front.
In these modern times, the person who goes to
Field goal again. Watch it hit the inside of the goalpost. Right there. Boom. Glanced off. I didn't notice that the first time. Then I looked at it and I said, oh, wait a minute. That hit the goalpost. So 53 yards away.
Allegra has missed only one this year. He kicks it away to Tate and Wilson. Deep for Cincinnati. And there will be a run back as Rodney Tate will bring it out. And Baltimore covers extremely well. The special teams for Baltimore have played quite well today. And a 16-yard return there. Ricky Jones making the tackle.
Watch the reaction. Number 3, Ron Stark. He's the holder. Look at that. And there's the man who did the job. Number 2, Raul Allegra. 53-yarder.
Now it's 31-27. Tate and Alexander, the running backs, as Ken Anderson brings his team to the line of scrimmage. The ball of the 13-yard line. Anderson hits Isaac Curtis. Curtis at the 20. Not too much on that one. James Burrows, 45, playing the left corner on the hit for Baltimore.
When Baltimore is not in a 5 defensive back alignment, the nickel defensive alignment, they're playing a very conservative zone defense. 3 guys deep, the strong safety coming up. First and second down, that's probably what they're going to be in. The pressure now is on Cincinnati to get that ball out of their own part of the field, to get out where they could, if they have to punt, they back up the Colts.
Second down 3 after a pickup of 7. Anderson swings it to Alexander. Alexander gets the first down. Comes up limping a little bit. Caught by Greg Braceland, the linebacker. I believe he got past that yard marker before he went out of bounds. Now they're going to measure it, it would appear.
Well, it's going to be very close. The situation now, though, for Cincinnati is that they need this first down, because if they don't make it, if they have to punt the ball, the Colts will get the football in good field position. They have 8 minutes to go. A touchdown then puts them ahead. Cincinnati, the challenge for them is to get a first down here, move the ball down, get better field position, and if they have to turn it over, back the Colts up because they're still out in front. Put the pressure on them. Don't turn it over to the Colts with good field position.
And they did not make the first down. By the length of the football, Kennebrew is in. 2 tight ends. The ball goes.
He fumbles.
Baltimore is recovered. Leo Wisniewski, number 69, the nose tackle out of Penn State, comes up with a football. He is the heart and soul of that line for Baltimore. And it's been a tough afternoon for mistakes for Forrest Gregg, Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, obviously, that's the worst thing that could happen. They didn't want to turn the ball over, putting it away, because, as I mentioned before, the Colts would have had good field position. Now they have excellent field position, recovering the fumble.
And they'll have it at the 18-yard line of Cincinnati. Here's Kennebrew, and the ball separated on the hit. He was going one way, the ball was going the other. Let's see what Pagel and the Colts can do. Dickey on the pitch at the 20. And Dickey chased out of bounds. Looks like he is inside the 10. He is at the 9-yard line. Ray Horton finally got him out of bounds. And with the ball at the 9, they may take a look. In fact, they're lining the ball up. Might be a look. In fact, it is closer to the 8 now where they line it up.
Curtis Dickey gets off the mark so fast. He makes it look easy. He gets out there. He got a very good block on that last play from his fullback, Randy McMillan. That set it up, and he just turned on the Jets.
Second down, length of the ball for a first down. First down, Baltimore. As Dickey gets the call again. Dickey down to the 5-yard line. Tim Crumry, rather, from the University of Wisconsin on the hit.
There's Dickey again, really quick off the mark. Offensive lineman all straight ahead blocking. Dickey uses that strength and acceleration, just goes right up the middle.
Baldeschweiler and Hinton in front of Dickey there, blowing him out. The ball down at the 3-yard line. It is first down, goal to go. In motion. Dickey to daylight, touchdown. Baltimore goes back in front here with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the game.
Well, it worked once before. Randy McMillan made a good block, so they come back again. Number 32, let's see if we can see the block on Kemp. There it is. Great block. Kemp has no place to go. Dickey just waltzes into the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, the Baltimore Colts, the youngest team in the NFL, have just kept plugging away today. They went down by 10. They stayed down by 10 for quite a long time, but Frank Cush and his Colts, who really believe in themselves, and especially in this guy, Raul Allegra, who kicked a 53-yard field goal just about a minute and a half ago, now adds another extra point. So with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the game, the Baltimore Colts have come back and now take the lead 34-31. Allegra kicks it off for Baltimore. Rodney Tate on the goal line for Cincinnati. Tate gets it out to about the 15, maybe the 16. Return of 15 yards. Marco Tung makes the tackle for Baltimore. Ricky Jones down there also with the special teams. 1982, 113 points in 9 games. Look what they've done in 5 games in 1983. And 34 big ones up on the scoreboard today for the Baltimore Colts, who are going for their 2nd straight win and their 3rd victory of the year. Kenny Anderson, one of the best at rallying a ball club, now has a first down at his own 16. Completes it to Chris Collinsworth, and James Burrows is over there on the coverage. So they settle for something very short, like about 5, 2nd and 5.
Well, Collinsworth coming in motion, gets himself inside. Now he's a man in the slot, trying to find some place to go. But you can see the Colts linebackers, they're staying in there, they're stay at home in that zone defense. The only thing he can come up with is a short gator out into the flat.
Baltimore's had the last 3 scores, field goals of 28 yards and 53 yards by Allegra, and Curtis Dickey's 3-yard touchdown run to put the Colts back in front. That's on the line and lots of whistles. Time remaining, 6 minutes, 53 seconds. We're in Cincinnati at Riverfront.
I think he might have been drawn offside.
False start, 68 offense.
Mike Obravik, number 68, the left tackle starting for Anthony Munoz, who has a bruised thigh. Mike Obravik, he did a great job last week against Tampa Bay. Leroy Selman, he really worked him over.
Selman is one of the better defensive ends, if not the best, in all of football. You can play well against him, you're really doing something.
2nd down, 10. Kreider is in, Tate is out. 3 wide receivers in now for Cincinnati. Coming to the near side, and a diving catch by Steve Kreider. Steve Kreider has turned out to be an important play man.
The Colts have changed up their coverage even now in their nickel defense. They're playing zone. You see number 44, that's Kendall Williams on the inside, but his responsibility is to play the zone. That's a change from before where they were playing man-to-man and double-teaming both outside guys.
So it is 3rd down and 6 after a gain of 4. This could be the biggest 3rd down play for the Baltimore defense today. Could be led by this man, Parker, 78. Wisniewski, 69. Anderson in the pocket, going long for Curtis, incomplete. James Burrows, number 45, had the coverage and stayed with him. And it's 4th down for Cincinnati.
Well, as you mentioned, Merle, that was a very, very big play for the Colts defense because they're going to get the football now. They're going to have good field position. There's 6 minutes to go. They're up by 3 points. They're going to be in a position where they're likely to get another shot at a field goal. Then that puts the pressure on Cincinnati to have to score a touchdown.
Pat McAnally is in to do the punting for Cincinnati. Porter is back as a single safety for Baltimore. McAnally hangs it way up in the air for Porter at his own 33. Porter diving out to the 37. A kick of 48 yards. Stanley Wilson on the coverage. And we have timeout with 5:51 to go in the game. The Baltimore Colts leading the Cincinnati Bengals 34-31. Here in Cincinnati, Baltimore leading 34-31 over the Cincinnati Bengals as we're into the 4th quarter. Jim Plunkett has rallied the Raiders coming from behind to take a lead over Washington in the 4th quarter. And the Chicago Bears are running over Denver. Minnesota, 4-point lead over the Cowboys. Pittsburgh, 7 better than Houston. And Seattle, squeaking by Cleveland. San Francisco running over New England. And right here, let's see what the Baltimore Colts do with a 34-31 lead in the 4th quarter. They go to the run. Dickey gets about 3 to the 40-yard line. 5 minutes, 44 seconds left. Tim Crumry and Bobby Kemp up to make the hit after a short pickup. Philadelphia and Atlanta. Atlanta coming from behind on a Bartkowski pass to Bailey for 8 yards and a touchdown to tie. Green Bay killing Tampa Bay. Green Bay looked awful Monday night in New York. Now they're taking it out on the Buccaneers, who are on their way to their 5th straight loss.
Merle, you and I have talked before about the Colts tending to be a little conservative, particularly in the 4th quarter when they get a lead. I don't think they can afford to do it.
Let's see what they do. They ran on 1st down. They run on 2nd down to Dickey inside, but Dickey breaking tackle has a 1st down at the 48-yard line. Robert Jackson making the hit. And right here, Curtis Dickey puts on some muscle to break a tackle and get the 1st down.
Well, Steve Wright, the right guard, comes across to the left side on a trap. Curtis Dickey does a good job of maintaining his balance. Then you see that beautiful acceleration as he just explodes. Number 37, Robert Jackson, is the guy who holds on and prevents the touchdown.
They're all big 1st downs now for Frank Kush. That was a big one. 4 minutes, 30 seconds again, establishing the fact that the Colts have been able to control the game, control the ball at least here in this 4th quarter, and the handoff goes to McMillan. This time they're on him at the 49, getting very little, if anything at all. Glenn Cameron, number 50, the linebacker, the man with a crunch. And it's 2nd down, 10, maybe 2nd and 9, the ball near the midfield stripe.
I think this is where we'll find out whether the Colts are going to be conservative and try to sit on their lead. 2nd and about 10. They need to get down to try to kick a field goal, which forces Cincinnati to go for a touchdown. If they don't, and to do that, you'd expect them to throw the football. If they don't throw it, I think they're going to be content to try to let their defense win the game.
Tracy Porter, the burner, is coming as a wideout. He's in there along with Bernard Henry. Pagel goes to the run to Dickey, and flags go down as he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Guy Frazier in on the stop. Flags were flying everywhere. Holding is called against Baltimore. And here's what we were discussing. Baltimore trying to protect that lead of 3 points with 3 minutes, 36 seconds. And yet you go back to the beginning of the ball game, Gene Washington, and what did they do? They passed on 4th down deep in their own territory. Had to turn the ball over, just missing a completion of the pass, possibly for a touchdown, which would have been the shocker for all shockers. And yet the defense stopped Cincinnati at the 1, and Cincinnati had to settle for a 3-yard field goal. It's kind of inconsistent philosophy, maybe.
Holding, number 72, offense, 2nd down.
Well, that's a left tackle, Carl Ballischweiler, is the man guilty of holding. And Merle, you're exactly right. It's inconsistent. And I think in that situation, now they've really gotten backed up. Now they've gotten themselves really out of field goal range. Unless they come up with a big play, more than likely they're going to end up turning the ball over to Cincinnati, and they have a chance to tie with the field goal.
Second down, 20. The Colts, 3 penalties, 26 yards. 6 defensive backs on the field for Cincinnati. The draw goes to McMillan. McMillan trying to get to the outside, playing off a block, cuts in, and goes across midfield to the 48. Guy Frazier making the tackle on the play. Ray Griffin coming up to help out. He got about 12 yards, maybe 13 yards.
Well, you watch Pagel get the ball from the center. McMillan getting the ball on a draw play, breaks to the outside. Bernard Henry, the man out there trying to make the block.
Now it's decision time for Baltimore on 3rd and long, 3rd down 7. 2 minutes, 53 seconds left in the game. Baltimore leading 34-31. A run again. This time the handoff going to Alvin Moore, and he is stopped after a yard pickup. And the Baltimore Colts have kept the ball on the ground and are about to turn it over with 2:36 remaining in the game. Drumrye, the rookie from Wisconsin. Glenn Cameron, the veteran from Florida. And Robert Jackson making the stop. And the punting unit is on. One thing about Baltimore, in fact, both ball clubs have outstanding punters, and Ron Stark, who leads the NFL, can actually kick the ball into the end zone from where he's going to be fielding it probably. But we have a timeout here. And Jimmy Turner apparently shaken up on the play. Make that Robert Jackson. So we have 4th down and about 4 coming up for the Baltimore Colts.
Well, the Colts have obviously decided that they're going to put the game in the hands of their defense. They feel that their defense can play well enough. They're going to punt the ball away. Cincinnati's going to get the ball. It might get kicked to the end zone. They'll get it on their 20. But now Cincinnati is in a position with the field goal to tie the game and to go in overtime. I think I would, well, it's difficult to say, but I think I would have gone for a pass in that situation. I think I would have been a little more aggressive because they maintained the football. They picked up the 1st down. Now they can just eat up more time on the clock. They really put a lot of pressure on Cincinnati. 2 minutes and 27 seconds ago, that's a lot of time. Cincinnati could actually move down the field, maybe even score a touchdown themselves.
All right, here we go. Ron Stark, Ray Horton is back deep. Stark leads the NFL, better than a 48 average. Horton will field the ball on his 12. His feet and finally gets shelled down at about the 22-yard line. A 33-yard punt. And we've got a timeout with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the game. Baltimore leading the Cincinnati Bengals 34-31. A while before Jim Breach gets involved in the game. I say that unless there's a big play in a hurry and an extra point is coming up. But right now, Ken Anderson and the Bengals 1st and 10 of their own 22-yard line, 2:15 to go in the game. There's the score, 3-point lead Baltimore. Anderson going to Kreider, 35, Kreider to the 39. A 17-yard pickup on the play.
The Colts, 5 defensive backs, but they're playing zone defense. Kendall Williams, this is his responsibility to the outside, but he rode Chris Collinsworth inside, therefore leaving Kreider out here wide open.
Well, 2 minutes to go. Here comes another one of those fantastic finishes.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes. 1979, an unfriendly Superdome crowd greets the Atlanta Falcons. In overtime, the Saints are forced to punt. The snap from center sails high over Russell Ertzlaben's head. He's in trouble now, and his futile pass is turned into a touchdown by James Mayberry as the Falcons defeat the Saints 40-34 on the game's final play.
We've had the 2-minute warning now. 2 minutes to play in the game. Baltimore ahead by 3, 34-31. Cincinnati with the ball on the Bengals 39-yard line. Ken Anderson. Big day today, but his team is behind. Anderson to Collinsworth at the 40 of Baltimore. 20 yards and a first down on the Colts 40-yard line. 1 minute 48 seconds to go.
The Colts continuing to play zone defense, even though they have 5 defensive backs out there. Cincinnati in this situation throwing the ball underneath.
First and 10. Anderson throwing. Anderson incomplete.
No, it's an interception.
The ball was tipped in the air. It is picked off and returned. And the Baltimore Colts with Nesby Glasgow picking that ball up. Apparently the ball, in fact, it's not apparent. It actually happened, I think. Or did it? Now let's see. We've got discussions by a lot of people. Nesby Glasgow picking that ball off.
Well, Chris Collinsworth is trying to argue that he didn't have possession of the ball, that it hit the turf and bounced up. But it appears as though he caught the ball coming back, diving, and when he hit the ground, the ball just came out of his hands. Nesby Glasgow being very alert, he picks it up. Let's take another look. Let's see if he has control of the football. Well,
I don't think the ball ever hit the ground.
It doesn't look like it. It's tough because Collinsworth was shielding it, but it looks as though his hands were underneath the ball. He rolled over and the ball popped up.
He kind of pitched it up in the air, even it might have appeared.
See if we can see it from this angle. Oh, his hands are underneath and he pops it up. That's a live ball.
And Glasgow returned it to the 48-yard line. The Colts have the ball. 1 minute 27 seconds left to go in the game. The Colts with 3 timeouts, the Bengals with 2. Colts leading by 3. McMillan into Cincinnati territory at about the 48-yard line. And Cincinnati takes a timeout to stop the clock. Bill Schwarberg and Mike Leonard have been our spotters today. John Merle, Jr., our statistician. Thank you, gentlemen. Very fine job. Glenn Collins making the last tackle. Randy McMillan, 61 yards today on 14 rushes. Second down, 5 coming up. Ball spotted near the 49-yard line. I believe the official line of scrimmage would be the 48. In Cincinnati territory. Cincinnati led at the end of the third quarter 31-24, but Raul Allegra kicked his second field goal of the day at 53 yards to make it Cincinnati 31, Baltimore 27. And then, after a Cincinnati fumble, the Baltimore Colts went right in to score with Curtis Dickey going the last 3 yards with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the game, and we're down to 1 minute 22, and they still have the 3-point lead. There's been a workhorse today, 32, Randy McMillan. Zeke Bratkowski on the headset, the offensive coordinator, Frank Kush, going for his 3rd win of the NFL. Won his opener in overtime, won last week in overtime.
I thought it was going to go in overtime today.
It's easy, Frank. Nothing to it, winning in the NFL. Boza in motion. And this time, the handoff goes to Newton Williams. Newton Williams, as time is called by Cincinnati, gets about 3 yards. Tim Crumry, the rookie, and Rick Rosano making the tackle. Crumry is a nose tackle, but he'll play inside on the 4-man front. And Rosano, 51, the linebacker, in his 4th year out of Virginia Tech. So Cincinnati takes its last time out. It'll be 3rd down and 4 for Baltimore. The ball is on the Cincinnati 46-yard line.
Well, Cincinnati still has a chance. There's 1 minute and 13 to go. If they can stop the Colts here, they'll get the football back, and if they're lucky enough or have the skill enough to throw the ball downfield on a couple of long pass plays, they'll have another shot.
Forrest Gregg and his Bengals won their first game last week as they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Meanwhile, the Colts were winning in overtime, 22-19. Over the Chicago Bears, as Raul Allegra missed a field goal in regulation time. It goes into OT, and he comes right back to kick his 3rd field goal of the day to win it. The Colts, been a long time since they've had a winning season. Ken Anderson You know how he feels right now. The Colts have the ball, and Cincinnati has no timeouts. It's 3rd down 4, and here's the big one. Pagel stays on the ground. McMillan tries to get the 1st down. He'll be close. Rick Rosano, 51, the linebacker, stopped him. And the clock showing 1 minute, 2 seconds left and running. Baltimore leading 34-31. So the ball now being spotted, and it is 4th down as the clock continues to run. Cincinnati with no timeouts. 4th down, a little less than a yard. 4th and short. Frank Cush is sending Ron Stark, number 3, the punter, into the game.
Well, I think they were trying to decide whether actually to hold on to the football and just run it. And if they didn't pick it up, the idea being that there wouldn't be very much time for Cincinnati to do much with it. So the decision was whether or not to punt the ball away, and I'm not sure they're going to punt it.
Baltimore is going to, they're running the clock down. They're going to take the penalty, the delay of the game penalty, to run the clock to 20 seconds. Jim Breach warming up on the sideline, but he'll have a long way to go. They're going to have to get a big gainer for him right away for him to have a shot. So Baltimore will take the 5-yard penalty. That won't bother Stark much.
Delay of the game. Offense.
So Ken Anderson should have one more shot at it. He's completed 22 passes out of 29 attempts for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns today. He's been intercepted once. Collinsworth has caught 9 for 216 yards, but it was the last play, ruled a fumble by Collinsworth, that set up the possession by Baltimore. Pagel is 12 out of 19, 124 yards for Baltimore. Dickey, 18 carries for 66 yards. McMillan, 14 for 62. Ray Horton will be back deep to take the Ron Stark punt. 20 seconds remaining. Baltimore ahead, 34-31.
Well, I would expect Stark to try to kick this ball out of bounds. The last thing they want is to give Cincinnati a chance for a run back. So I think he would rather settle for a shorter punt and make sure that he gets the ball out of bounds.
It's 4th down and 6 after the penalty. Chris Collinsworth has come on the field.
Well, they're going for the block.
They're going to get everybody up there with any speed that they can get. Stark back. In fact, he is back 15 yards on a drop as the punter. 20 seconds remaining, 4th down. Here comes the all-out rush. He gets it away, and he hangs it way up in the air. And Horton calls for the fair catch. And Horton fields it at his own 15-yard line. 12 seconds left to go. A 34-yard kick. So Stark gets his shortest punt of the day, but he gets the job done.
I think what they told him on the sideline was to kick the ball as high as you could. As you mentioned before, it was rather short. He wasn't the boomer that we were accustomed to seeing, but he got the ball up real high, allowed his people to get down underneath the coverage. Now Cincinnati takes over on about their 15-yard line with 12 seconds to go and no timeout.
So the ball has been set. At the snap, the clock will run. 12 seconds to play in the game. Cincinnati trailing by 3. Anderson is hit as he releases the ball. He really got whacked. Darnell Thompson was coming on a rush against Ken Anderson. That pass incomplete, 8 seconds to play. Now Cincinnati has got to get a long one. Well, and hope for the best.
There's number 99 coming from behind, Darnell Thompson. Just as Anderson was about to throw the ball, grabbed his arm, incompletion. One last attempt for the Bengals.
So Darnell Thompson comes up with his big play for the day. 6 seconds, 5 seconds, up for grabs on this one. Collinsworth down there. It is intercepted. It is intercepted by Derek Hatchett. Hatchett running the ball out of bounds. The clock has run out, and Derek Hatchett, part of the Texas connection for the Baltimore Colts. Allegra is one. Rodney Tate is one. They do quite well with the Longhorns. And Derek Hatchett comes up with the interception, and the Baltimore Colts win their 3rd game of the year, their 2nd in a row, beating Cincinnati 34-31, coming from behind to do so, coming from behind in the 3rd quarter.